Begin this half hour with a special message from King Charles. Yesterday, the British monarch gave a rare update on national television about...
The room goes quiet too fast. Inside Buckingham Palace, a door closes, and for a moment, no one moves. A small group of senior staff has just stepped out of a private briefing, and something in the air has shifted. They are not talking. They are not making eye contact. According to reports circulating in the British press about how the palace manages sensitive moments, silence like this usually means a decision has been made before anyone is allowed to say it out loud. A folder sits on the table. It does not stay there long. One aide picks it up, holds it close, and walks it out of the room. Whatever was inside, only a few people saw it, and the way they are behaving now suggests they wish they hadn't. The name that keeps surfacing in these quiet conversations is not King Charles III. It is not even Prince William, Prince of Wales. It is Catherine, Princess of Wales. People who study the royal household closely have noted that the way she is being referenced has changed. Not louder, not bigger, just different. Like she is being moved to the centre of something without anyone drawing the map. Hi viewers, before we go deeper, tell me in the comments. Do you trust Catherine, Princess of Wales, more than any other member of the royal family right now? Just yes or no. I read every reply, and your answer might surprise you by the end of this story. Because here is what makes this strange. No announcement has come, no press release, no statement from the palace. And yet, the people closest to the inner workings of the monarchy describe a feeling that something is being repositioned, not announced. Royal commentators have long debated whether the most important moves inside the crown happen in public or in rooms exactly like this one. Rooms where the cameras never reach. King Charles III remains sovereign. That part has not changed. Queen Camilla keeps her place beside him. Prince William stands where the heir apparent should stand. On paper, nothing is different. On paper, this is a normal week for the House of Windsor. But the people inside that briefing know better. They felt the weight of it. They watched a single folder leave a room and disappear into the private corridors of the palace, and they understood that whatever it contained was not meant for the public. At least, not yet. A memo, some say, a short one, reportedly circulated to a handful of senior figures before it was quietly pulled back. What did it say? Who wrote it? And why was Catherine, Princess of Wales, the name at the centre of it all? The answer to that question would not stay buried for long. The pressure starts at the top, and it starts with the King. King Charles III is managing his health in public view, and the whole institution feels the strain of it. This is known. The palace has confirmed his treatment and his reduced schedule. What the palace does not say out loud is how much that reality reshapes everything beneath it. When a monarch slows down, the machine around him does not stop. It shifts weight onto other shoulders. Those shoulders increasingly belong to Prince William, Prince of Wales. He is taking on heavier duties now, more appearances, more responsibility, more of the quiet institutional work that keeps the monarchy running. Royal watchers have noted his expanding role for months, describing a man stepping into a future that arrived sooner than expected. He does not announce it, he simply does it, one engagement at a time. And beside him, again and again, stands Catherine. She appears in what observers have started calling stability roles, hospital visits, children's causes, moments built on warmth rather than ceremony. After her health battle and her slow, careful return to public life, her presence carries a different kind of meaning now. People do not just see a princess. They see someone who walked through something hard and came back standing. Inside the palace, communications tighten. Messaging gets controlled more carefully than before. Every photograph, every appearance, every word seems planned with extra caution. From a public relations standpoint, this kind of discipline usually signals that an institution knows it is being watched closely and cannot afford a mistake. No one calls it a transition. That word is dangerous. It raises questions no one wants asked out loud. But the feeling is there in every careful move, every controlled statement, every image released at exactly the right moment. Everyone senses it, no one names it. The royal family has always understood the difference between what is said and what is felt, and right now, what is felt is a slow rebalancing of who carries the public face of the crown. According to reports about conversations inside the household, one senior figure reportedly described Catherine in a way that stopped people in the room, not as a princess, not as a wife, but as something the institution suddenly seemed to need more than it expected. She was, the comment suggested, the most trusted face in the room right now.
Immunotherapy. Yes, we've actually got quite a lot about immunotherapy. Science, whatever. Science engagement, science expert, whatever.
And in a family fighting to hold public confidence, trust like that is not a small thing. It might be the most valuable currency the monarchy has left. Queen Camilla's title has not moved an inch. She is queen. That is settled, formal, and beyond question. Her role beside King Charles III is exactly what it has always been, defined by the coronation and protected by every rule the institution lives by. On the official structure of the monarchy, nothing about her position has changed, but titles and feelings are two different things. In the public imagination, something has shifted, and royal commentators have not been shy about pointing it out. The conversation online has started to resurface, quiet at first, then louder, comparing Queen Camilla and Catherine, Princess of Wales, not in rank, in warmth, in how people respond to them, in who the public seems to reach for emotionally. This is delicate ground, and the palace knows it. The household does not confront this directly. There are no statements, no corrections, no defensive moves. Instead, the focus stays on optics, on careful images and balanced appearances designed to keep everyone in their proper place. From a public relations standpoint, silence here is a strategy, not an accident. Naming the tension would only feed it. But the tension exists anyway, because the royal family runs on loyalty and the public runs on popularity, and those two things do not always point in the same direction. Camilla has earned her position through decades of steady presence beside Charles. Catherine has earned something different. A wave of public affection built on endurance and image and timing. Royal biographers have long debated whether affection or rank carries more weight when the crown is under pressure. That debate is no longer just academic. Supporters of Queen Camilla, according to reports about palace dynamics, are described as watchful right now, protective, aware that emotional power can quietly outshine formal power if no one manages it carefully. The institution has to balance both women without ever admitting there is a balance to be struck. 8. And then there was the engagement. At a recent royal event, observers reportedly noticed something small but striking. A seating arrangement that appeared to change at the last moment, a quiet adjustment. The kind of thing most people would never notice, unless they were the kind of people who notice everything. Who moved and who was moved closer to the centre. That detail, small as it seemed, would feed the very rumour the palace was trying so hard to avoid. The word shows up online before it shows up anywhere else. Regent. It starts in comment sections and royal forums, then spreads to social media, then gets picked up by the kind of accounts that watch the monarchy for a living. People are looking at Catherine, Princess of Wales, at how often she appears, how central she has become, how the public seems to lean toward her, and they are reaching for a word big enough to describe it. But here is the truth the rumour skips over. There is no regency, there is no legal change. Prince William, Prince of Wales, remains heir apparent exactly as he has been. Catherine holds no constitutional office. Under the system that actually governs these things, regency is not granted casually, and it is not something the public can vote into existence through speculation. The reality is far more specific than the rumour. The United Kingdom has a formal mechanism called the Councillors of State, established under the Regency Act of 1937 and updated since.
There was this really awkward moment between the Princess of Wales and Queen Camilla. Catherine was engaged in a conversation with Melania Trump, and Camilla was kind of standing there looking really awkward, not really making eye contact. And then she gives Catherine a little shoe and kind of just sends her away. Now, Caroline, to you, does that...
These are the people legally permitted to act for the sovereign when needed. And the list is defined by law, not by popularity. Royal experts have repeatedly pointed out that Catherine is not on that list. The framework is precise. It does not bend to public feeling. So what people are describing is not legal regency at all. It is something softer and harder to name. Call it functional leadership perception. The sense that someone is leading emotionally, even when they hold no formal authority to do so. Royal commentators have debated whether this kind of perceived power can matter as much as the real thing, especially for an institution that survives on image. The contrast is striking. On one side, the media builds a story, filling silence with interpretation. On the other side, the palace says nothing, and that silence only makes the story grow. From a public relations standpoint, refusing to engage can sometimes contain a rumour. Other times, it lets the rumour breathe. This appears to be the second kind. And then came the phrase. According to reports describing an internal royal briefing, someone reportedly referred to Catherine using language that sounded almost designed for this moment. Not regent, not heir. Something quieter and somehow more telling. A continuity anchor. 2 words, no legal meaning at all. And yet, if true, they revealed exactly how the institution had started to think about her, and what role they might be quietly building around a woman who, on paper, held no new title whatsoever. Prince William is everywhere now, and not by accident. He moves through foreign visits, institutional meetings, and the kind of high-level coordination that used to belong to the monarch alone. Royal watchers have tracked his expanding presence for months, describing a Prince of Wales who is no longer waiting in the wings, but actively shaping the work of the crown. Each step looks ordinary on its own. Together, they look like something larger. He is taking control quietly, the way the most effective people often do. There are no dramatic announcements, no claims of new power, just a steady accumulation of responsibility. Oversight here, a strategic decision there. A foreign trip that carries more weight than the schedule suggests. From a public relations standpoint, this slow approach is smart. It lets authority grow without ever triggering the questions that loud moves would invite. And in nearly every frame, Catherine is beside him. Not behind him, beside him. The positioning matters, and observers have noticed it. Where William brings structure and strategy, Catherine brings something the public responds to on a different level. Steadiness, warmth, the sense of a family holding together under pressure. Together they create an impression of shared strength that neither could fully build alone. This is where perception starts doing real work, because when 2 people consistently appear as a unit at the centre of an institution, the public begins to read them as a single source of authority. Royal commentators have debated whether the Waleses are being deliberately presented this way, or whether the pattern simply reflects the natural shift of a monarchy preparing for its future. Either way, the effect is the same. People see partnership, people see leadership. The palace, as always, says nothing direct, but the images keep coming. The joint appearances, the coordinated presence, the careful sense that this is the future of the monarchy already taking shape in front of everyone, one engagement at a time. And the more the public sees it, the more natural it feels, until the idea of William and Catherine at the centre stops being a prediction and starts feeling like a fact. Then came the detail that raised eyebrows. According to reports about discussions inside the household, there was reportedly a conversation, a quiet internal debate, about whether Catherine should begin attending briefings of a far more serious nature. Not charity work, not public events, something closer to the actual machinery of state. The question on the table, if the reports are accurate, was simple and enormous at the same time. Should the Princess of Wales sit in rooms where the real decisions of the crown are made? And if the answer was yes, what would that quietly make her? A single name keeps the palace awake at night, and it isn't Catherine's. It's Andrew. The fallout surrounding Prince Andrew, Duke of York, continues to press on the institution like a weight that will not lift. His withdrawal from public duties, the loss of his roles, the ongoing damage to his reputation. All of it remains a live wound for the monarchy. Royal commentators have repeatedly pointed out that no single figure has tested public patience with quite like he has in recent years. And the public is paying attention. People care more than ever about accountability now. They want to know that the monarchy holds itself to a standard, that privilege does not erase responsibility. Every time the Andrew story resurfaces, that sensitivity sharpens. According to reports circulating in the British press, the palace treats anything connected to him with extreme caution, aware that one misstep could reopen questions the institution would rather keep closed. So, the household leans toward something cleaner. The strategy, as observers describe it, is continuity built on a spotless public image. Show the parts of the family people trust. Keep the focus on service, on warmth, on stability. From a public relations standpoint, this move suggests an institution actively steering attention toward its strongest assets and away from its weakest ones. And that is exactly where Catherine, Princess of Wales, comes in. Against the backdrop of the Andrew controversy, she reads as the opposite of everything that story represents. Where there is doubt, she offers reassurance. Where there is scandal, she offers steadiness. Royal biographers have long debated whether any modern royal has carried this kind of clean public trust, and right now, the comparison practically makes itself. She becomes a counterbalance, not through any statement, not through any claim, but simply through contrast. The more fragile the institution looks in one corner, the more the public reaches toward the figure who looks solid. The monarchy, in this telling, is protecting itself the only way an old institution knows how, by managing what people feel before they can decide what they think. It is survival through perception. And according to reports describing internal conversations, one leaked comment cut straight to the heart of it. In the careful, guarded language of palace strategy, Catherine was reportedly described as the safest public-facing royal asset the family had. An asset, not a person. A resource to be positioned and protected. If that framing is accurate, it raises a question the palace would never answer aloud. When an institution starts measuring a human being by how much trust she can hold for them, what happens when they decide to spend it? Nothing is signed. Nothing is declared. And yet everything moves. There is no regency. Let that stay clear, because the truth matters here. King Charles III has granted no new title to Catherine, Princess of Wales. No document transfers authority to her. No law has changed. On every official record, the structure of the monarchy stands exactly where it stood before. But power does not always travel through paper. What appears to be happening, according to reports analysing the family's recent behaviour, is a steady delegation of public trust toward Catherine. Not authority, but something close enough to feel like it. More visibility, more central placement, more of the emotional weight the crown depends on, quietly shifted onto her shoulders. And King Charles III, in this telling, is not a passive figure watching it happen. Royal commentators have debated whether the king is far more strategic than the public gives him credit for. A monarch managing his own health, his legacy, and the future of an institution all at once. From a public relations standpoint, this move suggests a sovereign who understands that his greatest task now is not ceremony, It is making sure the crown survives the handoff to the next generation intact. So the pieces rebalance quietly. Queen Camilla holds her formal role. Prince William steps deeper into the machinery of state. Catherine carries the public's trust. Each one occupies a different kind of space, and together they form a structure no announcement ever built. The genius of it, if the reports are accurate, is that none of it requires a single official word, because perception becomes power. When enough people believe someone is central, that belief starts to function like authority, whether or not the law agrees. Royal biographers have long debated whether the modern monarchy runs more on feeling than on formal rule. And this moment looks like the clearest test of that idea in years. The institution adapts without admitting it is adapting. And then came the phrase that, if real, said everything. According to reports describing a brief internal note, someone reportedly referenced what they called a temporary representational authority alignment. Read it slowly. It means nothing legally. It grants nothing officially. And yet it describes, in cold bureaucratic language, exactly the kind of quiet repositioning. That no one in the palace would ever confirm out loud. Someone, somewhere had tried to put words to the thing that was never supposed to have a name. The question now was simple. Who wrote it? And who was never supposed to read it? The story slips out before anyone means it to. It starts as a small crack in the messaging. A statement that does not quite match an earlier one. An appearance framed one way by the palace and another way by the press. According to reports circulating in the British press, observers begin noticing inconsistencies in how the household describes Catherine's growing role. Small gaps that, once seen, cannot be unseen. The media moves into those gaps fast. Royal correspondents start interpreting what the palace will not explain. Some describe Catherine, Princess of Wales, as a de facto stabiliser. The person actually holding the public face of the monarchy together, regardless of what any title says. The word de facto matters here. It means in practice, not in law. And that distinction is exactly the one the palace has worked so hard to keep blurred. The commentators split. Some argue this is natural, the obvious result of a monarchy preparing for its future. Others call it stage management, a carefully built image designed to steer public emotion. Royal biographers have long debated whether the crown shapes perception or simply responds to it, and this disagreement plays out in real time across newspapers, broadcasts and feeds. Through all of it, the palace stays silent. And the silence does what silence always does in these situations. It does not calm the story, it feeds it. From a public relations standpoint, refusing to confirm or deny leaves a vacuum, and the public fills that vacuum with interpretation. Every unanswered question becomes a new theory. Every theory becomes another reason to keep watching. The momentum builds on its own now. What began as a feeling inside one quiet room has become a national conversation, and no one in the household appears able to fully control where it goes next. The institution that prizes discipline above almost everything finds itself watching a narrative move faster than its own carefully managed messaging. Then came the broadcast. According to reports describing a televised segment, a commentator reportedly used a phrase that captured the entire shift in a single line. Catherine, they said, had become the monarchy's emotional continuity line, not its legal heir, not its sovereign. Its emotional continuity line, the thread of feeling that keeps the public connected to the crown when everything else feels uncertain. If a phrase like that could make it onto the air, the question was no longer whether the perception had taken hold, it was how far it had already spread, and whether anyone could pull it back. The moment arrives quietly, and it belongs entirely to her. At a recent public appearance, the crowd responds to Catherine, Princess of Wales, in a way that observers describe as something beyond ordinary royal enthusiasm. Warmth, relief, a kind of public affection that feels less like ceremony and more like trust. After everything, her health battle, her careful return, the long months of speculation, her image reaches what royal commentators have called a peak trust moment. People believe in her. And around that belief, the rest of the family settles into clearer focus. Prince William, Prince of Wales, reads now as the future structure of the monarchy. The man who will carry its formal authority forward when the time comes. His role is about what is coming next. King Charles III in this framing becomes the transitional monarch, not a ceremonial figure and not a weakened one, but a sovereign managing a careful handoff, protecting the legacy, steadying the institution, making sure the crown passes forward without fracture. Royal biographers have long debated whether his reign was always meant to be a bridge, and this moment makes that interpretation feel almost certain. Queen Camilla holds her place as Queen Consort, steady and formal beside him. Each figure now occupies a clear position in the public mind. And yet, the deepest tension of the whole story sits right here, in the gap between what is official and what is believed. Because the official structure says one thing, and the public's heart says another. The institution has rank. The public has feeling. And those two things have rarely pulled in such different directions. According to reports describing a private conversation, that exact tension was reportedly put into words by someone close to these dynamics. People, the comment suggested, respond to her more than they respond to the institution itself. Sit with that. It means the affection now flowing toward Catherine may have grown larger than the monarchy that surrounds her. And if that is true, then the most important question was no longer about titles at all. It was about what an institution does when one person quietly becomes more trusted than the thing she represents. In the end, no one ever says the word. There is no regency. There is no announcement. There is no document, no statute, no formal transfer of authority to Catherine, Princess of Wales. Everything official remains exactly as it was. The palace never confirms a single thing because confirming it would mean it was real in a way the institution cannot afford. And yet the shift has already happened, not in law, in perception, in the quiet, powerful place where the public decides who it trusts. Royal commentators have long debated whether the modern monarchy survives on ceremony or on belief, and this entire story points toward the harder answer. The crown endures on symbolism, not on declarations. That is the secret hiding in plain sight. The monarchy does not need to name Catherine's role, because naming it would only expose how fragile and how powerful perception truly is. From a public relations standpoint, the smartest move was always the quietest one. Let the public feel the shift and never, ever put it in writing. So, she becomes the anchor without the title, the emotional centre of a future monarchy that was never officially redrawn, the face people lean toward when the institution feels uncertain. And the most striking part of all is that the most powerful role in the royal family today may be the one that was deliberately never created. That is where this story leaves us, with a question, not an answer. What if real power inside the modern monarchy has nothing to do with titles, statutes, or coronations, and everything to do with who the public chooses to believe in? Royal biographers may debate it for years. The palace will never settle it. If this story made you see the royal family a little differently, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. We have more stories coming that dig into the hidden power, the quiet decisions, and the moments history almost overlooked. And before you go, share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might be the one that makes someone else see all of this in a completely new light. So tell me honestly, in the monarchy of the future, who really holds the power? The one with the title, or the one the people believe in?